her property to be restored to her. God told me to tell somebody that there are some things that have gotten snatched from you, or that either God allowed the devil to take, or you got slack and you weren't paying attention. But God told me to tell somebody this afternoon that if you wait on him and you worship him and appreciate him for who he is, he'll give you back everything that you lost. Well, Byron, how I get my stuff back? I'm so glad you asked. 3 things you got to do, and now I'm out. First of all, if you want your stuff back, you got to recognize that everybody goes through a dry season. I don't care how long you've been in church. I don't care if you've been in church 50 years or 5 minutes. Everybody in here, including me, goes through a dry season. I'm talking about a season where nothing's coming together. Anybody in here ever been through a dry season before? I'm talking about a dry season where you feel like you're burnt out. You come to church, but there's no spiritual growth. You go to school, but you don't feel like going. You go to work, but you're tired of dealing with the same Negroes. And I laugh at people. It's remarkable to me how people say, I don't go to church because there ain't nothing but hypocrites in the church. You go to work. Hello, somebody. You go to work and there's two-faced and hypocrites there, but you go because you want to pay. Tell somebody and tell them everybody goes through a dry season. You are not exempt because you've been saved. You are not exempt from going through situations just because you may speak in tongues or you run and dance around the church. As a matter of fact, the more stuff that you go through is just a prime indication that not only does God have his hand on you, but that the devil doesn't mess with anybody who ain't going somewhere. So that's why some of you ought to develop a new attitude. When you start hearing people talking bad about you and saying what you ain't and what you're not going to become, because that's a prime indication that when the world tells you you ain't going to be nothing, that's a prime indication that God is going to make you something. Not only must you realize that everybody goes through a dry season if you want your stuff back, but secondly, don't make the same mistake twice. If God freed you, don't go back. If you left the relationship with a piece of your mind, don't go back. If God delivered you out of a situation that you know you didn't have any business being in, and God delivered you from it, don't go back. If you dated them and y'all broke up, don't go back. Because he whom the Son sets free is free indeed. Bible says, be not entangled with the yoke of bondage. Y'all pray now, I'm just trying to find a note. If God freed you, don't go back. God allowed you to make a clean break. Don't go back. If God allowed you to leave the relationship with a little piece of your mind, there is nobody worth you going back into the thing that you used to be in. But if God delivered you mentally, don't go back. If God showed you another way to do something, then don't go back. But there's one more thing that I got to tell you if you want your stuff back. Not only must you recognize, yes, that everybody goes through a dry season, not only must you not make the same mistake twice, but there's one more thing I got to leave with you this afternoon, and that is learn the lesson and go get your stuff back. If you fool me once, shame on you. But if you fool me twice, then shame on me. And there's some of you in here this afternoon that God told me to tell you that if you really desire to get some stuff back, some of you lost your joy and you need to get it back. Some of you lost your peace and you need to go and get it back. and regardless of your color or your creed, regardless of if you go to school or if you work full-time, whether you're age 5 or age 20, oh, God told me to tell somebody this afternoon that if you really want to get your stuff back, there's no need of you crying about it. There's no need of you getting frustrated about it. But you need to remember the lesson that was learned. Experience is a great teacher. And some of you go through situations after situations, and you've not learned the lesson that God is trying to teach you. But if you've been through a bad situation, if you've been through a negative circumstance, if you've been through a bad situation, how many more times are you going to have to go through it before you remember that the God I serve, He'll deliver you out of it, and that when He delivers you out of it, don't go back. I wish you'd touch somebody and tell them, neighbor, don't go back. If God freed you, don't go back. Thank you, Shulamite woman. Thank you for teaching us how to wait on God, because she not only waited on God to give her stuff back, but the Bible says that she got it back with interest. Look at the text. The Bible says that when the king appointed unto her an officer, saying, restore all that was hers. The B clause of the text said, and all the fruits of the field, since the day that she left the land and even till now. I wish you'd touch somebody and tell them God is a God of interest. That means extra. Whatever the devil took from you, God is able to give it back with interest. What does interest mean? Extra. Look at somebody and tell them, I want extra. I wish you'd touch somebody else and tell them, I want an extra blessing. Press down, shaken together, and run it over. Yes, I'm glad to report that you didn't go through what you went through just for you to go through it. But God told me to tell somebody that what you're going through now is just a blessing for somebody else. I'm glad to report that if you want extra, touch somebody and tell them, God don't want you to go through something just to go through it, but there is a lesson, there is a plan to God for your life. I wish you'd touch somebody and tell them, extra you deserve. Extra means you deserve it. Press down, shaken together, and run it over. That's why you can't cuss when everybody else is cussing, because jump it up, I want extra. That's why I can't date you right now, because I want extra. Yeah.